Peace, everybody. This episode of the MAJORMOOD Podcast was blessed by Eva Swanson, a faith-based vocalist representing Washington, D.C. This forward-thinking vocal powerhouse offers a refreshing approach to a somewhat marginalized genre of music. So soulful, so beautiful. Movemaker and moodmaker, Eva Swanson.
When I'm withdrawn.
All right, everyone. Peace and welcome to the MAJORMOOD Podcast. Live in NYC for the Digilogue Days. We got Eva Swanson here. And I just want to say who I have on this podcast is not only movemakers, but moodmakers. And I really wanted to interview you because you set a mood for me. You really resonated with me, and I feel like it's very synchronistic that I do interview you, and I guess I'll tell you why, because we don't really know each other.
Yeah.
But I'll start by saying I have a great admiration for you and your the outward way you communicate your relationship with God, and I really appreciate that. And I was going to call you a Christian indie artist, but you referred to yourself as a faith-based singer. And I thought that sounded about right. That was really cool. Yeah. And the reason I say it's synchronistic is because I recently started listening to Madison Ryan Ward.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like she is not only hitting me with like, you know, the lyrics related to faith, but the way she's making the music in such a way that it's not necessarily distinguishable all the time exactly what she's singing about. Right. And then I heard your track, Path of Life, and I felt so similar. Yeah. I felt like, wow, this is a way that artists are doing it differently. So I just want to say thank you for that and for the way you approach your music.
Thanks. Appreciate, just those comments. And it's cool you mentioned her because she's definitely up there, one of my favorite artists, big influence. So I actually just saw her in New York like a month or two ago, so it's kind of cool to be back, and that was my last memory here, so it was a great concert.
Wow, I mean, you got lucky because her show was sold out.
Yes.
And that is kind of where I kind of wanted to go with this conversation with you, because I've never seen faith-based artists with such mainstream recognition. And then I don't know if you listen to Thames, but she just released a track called Me and You. And Thames, like, you know, when I first heard it, I thought it was about a relationship, but that was actually her relationship with God that she was speaking about. And I'm seeing this like resurgence between Madison Ryan Ward, now someone like Thames, and now I hear your music and its levels. Your voice is very, very beautiful, by the way. You have range like no other. So really, I just want to ask you, like, do you see a place for faith-based music in the mainstream?
Yeah, that's such a big question and a big topic going on right now, especially as there's just more and more independent artists that are basically, you know, taking styles and genres that they love and are trying to kind of contextualize, you know, what they believe and what their hope is into sounds that, they love. And so Madison Ryan Ward is one of those. Victory Boyd is another one that has been like, she's actually with Def Jam, but she's been another one coming up. But I personally just see a lot of growth in, like, there's this thing called Smoke Fest that just went on in, I think in Nashville, but that's more of like the hip hop kind of space, but that's a whole festival that, you know, that it's only their, I think, third one that they had, but I can just tell that there's just a lot of movement and potential growth for independent artists who are, you know, recontextualizing genres that are familiar, but you know, speaking about these things that they care about. So
when you were at Smoke Fest, did you attend it?
I actually wasn't able to go, but my friend was like volunteering and telling me about it, and I want to try to go in the next year.
And you heard that there was like some artists in your sector there, and even like more conscious rappers, just kind of like having a more like mindful approach to their music, and intentional approach.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to, you know, communicate their faith in these genres, and I'm starting to see, and you just kind of start to see communities build around, you know, certain genres, and like for example, another one is that I'm actually involved with is called One Big Family, and so we're they've gone on tours mostly out west, but they want to try to do them in, the east side of the country. And like, we just recorded a project, and you just start to see all these, online and in-person communities building up, and then, they start centralizing around, projects or artists or festivals, and I think we're just in a really interesting time, and the future will just continue to be more building up of that. And
I agree with you, because like, I don't know, sometimes like when you're into something you might like see it more, so I'm like, oh, am I just feeling this uprising of like this type of music because I'm into it? But something about it feels different. I feel like people are being more conscious. They're talking more about their spirituality, their faith, and they're not scared to talk about it. I feel like for a long time it was like almost uncool to believe in God, And then as I nourish my relationship with Source more and more, I feel like I'm surrounded by more and more people who do, and it's only grown. So, like I said, I admire you for like going full-fledged into even saying like, I'm a faith-based musician. And like, was there a time in your music career where you were like, I'm a singer, and then you transitioned to saying, no, I'm a faith-based singer?
That's a good question. And I mean, my background is very heavily in choir, so I always, that's just the type of ensemble and group that I was most consistent with, and just that I loved and felt at home in. And so I didn't even really see myself as a songwriter or, singer outside of choir, maybe some solos here and there and whatnot. But until 2018, honestly, just going through a hard time, and like a song came out as a prayer, and it was like, it was not even on purpose in a way. It's just kind of after the fact, I was like, that's a song, and I wrote that. And it just sort of was this natural moment. And then from there, got more connected into understanding how to, actually through my choir director helping me understand, your computer is your studio, and like, you need these pieces of gear to start making, and YouTube to learn. And so just the snowball effect of learning it all. And then from there, I began to more so identify as a artist and singer-songwriter through just connecting with some more people that, were creatives and that were able to help me on my journey and teach me things. So it kind of, but I also see myself, and that's the thing too, is as I continue to develop as an artist, I'm not open to singing music that, doesn't speak directly about God or, I think that that's another whole topic of sometimes people aren't sure about you, like, are you in this or that camp or lane or whatever? And I think there's a lot of artists that are trying to navigate, they might have a project that's kind of more love song based, and people might be confused, like, what are you doing? I thought you did this. But, I think that's kind of why I like the phrase faith-based, because like that's at the base of, me and like what's informing how I see, and like that's ultimately what an artist is doing, is you're conveying how you see the world and how you're processing, realities. And so, like I said, I do want to create music in the future that is like that, but this is just where I'm at right now, and I'm still just in the beginning stages. I want to get a first EP out there, kind of have to tell that initial story and kind of see where it goes from there.
I love that, because what I'm hearing is like, being a faith-based artist is like kind of your foundation of like maybe your like perspective on how you kind of like approach your music. But it doesn't mean it's going to be the subject matter all the time. And I think you're allowed to branch out from that, and not every song has to relate in that way. So I really I want to see you do everything that you want to do without any boxes around you, because I don't believe anyone needs boxes. I think that's great. I know you were talking about your community, and I know you work closely with 24/7. Has like that experience, like working with people that are like trying to help you to see yourself more clear and push your career more forward, has that helped you? Like, is that something that's helped you balance the business aspect with the creativity aspect as well?
With 24/7. Yes, I think that the thing, and I've definitely gotten help so far with just being educated on different aspects of royalties and the music, like just the music business side of things. I'm a sponge of all that stuff at this point, and just want to keep absorbing what I can. But that's been a major area where I've grown through 24/7. It's just getting more knowledge through, credible sources, and, whether it's a webinar or I've listened to the podcast, and just that's how I found out about Digilogue. Honestly, it was through listening to the podcast.
Shout out Digilogue.
So just kind of making the most of the resources available and getting excited about them as they continue to roll out, and there's more available that can help support artists. And then also when they did the DC meetup, I just met a ton of people, and there were some familiar faces, but it was great to just have a place where there's this mutual trust, I guess, and you can kind of plug in, and then there's been multiple people that I've seen again since then, and then there's just this quick, oh hey, like 24/7. I know, like we have this understanding of where we're based in some capacity. So that's been another really helpful thing from 24/7.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask you, because I got introduced to you through 24/7, so I was like, this wouldn't even have happened, you know what I mean?
I know.
I was so excited.
And I'm even working, like, I got plugged into knowing a producer through 24/7, and I'm working on a song with them right now, and so it's just like,
that's just how the things collide.
It just
when
rolls
you're with good communities.
Yeah.
Totally. So I'm going to give you a little opportunity right now. I'm not going to call it an opportunity because you might hate me for this. But in every one of my episodes, every one of my interviews, it's called the MAJORMOOD Podcast. So I give my artists a chance to set the mood. So that could be a verse. It could be a cover of a favorite song. It could just be a gem. You could drop a gem for your fans if there's some bit of information you want to tell them. But would you like to sing for us? Would you like to do a quick little ting?
I could. I am a little like.
I know. I've had
sore throat.
I know we've all been talking all day.
Oh yeah, that too.
But no one will judge you on it. If you don't want to, you can drop it. But if you want to do it, doesn't even have to be a 16. It can be 8 bars.
Yeah, I even think of just like with Path of Life, where it's just like.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I think Around the Pitch is something like. Where else can I walk but on your path of life? How can I be filled if I don't let you in this life as you live? I hope that I can't really hear it.
You got it. One more.
Oh, that was it. But
that was it?
Yeah.
All right, we can. I just want to hear. We'll run it back in post.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I want to say thank you. Thank you to Eva Swanson. MAJORMOOD Podcast. Yeah. We out here, and thank you, Digilogue. This is great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's out to be here.
It's a major mood. Satisfy me in the morning. It's your love I'll be adoring. You're gracing me.